I I just want to, get you all's take on what's going on. Let's get in with our rating. So I would rate this probably a good 9 from the ladies. I wanna rate it a 9 because it's a lot of stuff brewing and it's a lot of tensions flaring and it's the Married to Medicine ladies have been really giving a good show. I don't even watch Atlanta Housewives anymore, but I do tune in for Married to Medicine, and I feel like they are right there with or above the Housewives of Atlanta. So the Housewives of Atlanta, y'all need to step y'all game up. See what the medicine wives are doing, and take note because they are bringing it every episode. So the scene opens up with Dr. Kieran reassuring the kids that the home is safe. I can't imagine, what the kids are feeling, if they understand everything, but just knowing, that someone would violated your house and came into your home, um, I can't imagine how that feels. And I don't want to imagine how that feels. So my heart goes out to Anila and her family. So Anila says that she and Ariana, they went upstairs to find all the cabinet doors open and her valuables missing. So Anila, she couldn't stay in the house. So she left and went to her mom's house in Savannah for about 2 weeks just to shake things off. Dr. Kieran stayed behind. So Dr. Kieran stayed behind, beefed up security, and, he had cameras on every door, and he admits that, he was lax with the security. And I can understand that because they are in a gated community, not just a regular gated community, but they're in a community that has a guard. So it's just not typical that you would find someone getting their house broken into. So I can understand why Dr. Kieran was a little lax. And I don't feel like he should feel like he's to blame for it. It's just, unfortunately, this happened to Anila and her family. So Anila is still reeling about what happened, and she's trying to figure out why them, of all houses, why them. So Dr. Kira reminds her, you know what happened a couple days ago. And so the producers flash back to Toya and Anila getting into it at Quad's Christmas party. So it's a unfortunate situation. I don't want Toya to get blamed if she didn't have anything to do with. But Toya, if you do know something, you need to say something. I mean, and especially if you didn't have anything to do with it, if you know something, say something. You don't want that happening to your house. So it goes on to show Dr. Jackie at her office, and she did hire Dr. Bullard, the lady that interviewed with her last episode. So she is showing Dr. Bullard the layout of the office and, showing her how she likes things. So the producers asked Dr. Jackie, are you a little OCD? And Dr. Jackie says, I just like things organized. Classic OCD answer. But I need to know what sign Dr. Jackie is because she's giving me a lot of Virgo vibes. She just likes things in a specific order. And if her sun isn't in Virgo, I'm pretty sure she has a lot of Virgo on her chart because she is very hyper organized. And so Dr. Bullet looks a little scared, but hey, it is what it is. Dr. Jackie owns her practice, so you need to just get in where you fit in and make sure it's organized. She does. Dr. Bullet asked for pink gloves, and Dr. Jackie was like, "That's not in the budget." And she was like, "Well, can we put it in the budget?" And she was like, "Unless you want to take some off your salary, we'll go with the blue and the purple. Thank you." So yeah, and if you want to bring in your own pink gloves, by all means, bring in your own pink gloves. But for this practice, we're gonna have pink, blue, and purple. So after all of that, Dr. Jackie does gift her with a Gucci purse. And so Dr. Buller like, do you go in the hospital with Gucci on? And Dr. Jackie was like, yes, I do. And I don't blame you, Dr. Jackie. I mean, you can look fly with your scrubs on. So yeah, I thought that was very nice. And Dr. Jackie, hello, if you are hiring, I'm not an OBGYN, but I could do something in your office, especially if you give in Gucci purses as, a gift for, signing on with your office. Because I mean, hello, I would love to join your team. So Toya and Eugene and their son, they're driving in her baby blue Porsche. And Dr. Eugene reveals that he did get the job as an urgent care oncologist specialist, so he would be able to be available to his family on nights and weekends. And Toya seems excited about that. She's very happy that she's going to get more Eugene, and hopefully he won't be as tired and will be more present for his family. So Eugene says that this will be a nice change of pace for him. Um, so Toya's son is turning 12 and he wants to do a dinner party for his birthday. So very mature for a 12-year-old. I thought that was really nice. So he wants to do a dinner party for his friends, and he and Eugene will actually be the chef. And so I think that's really cute. I like that. He decides not to have it at some trampoline park or whatever. He decides to do something very chic and very mature for a 12-year-old. And I love it. Um, so Simone and Cecil speak to Omarosa about their book, and they sent Omarosa over their book proposal. Omarosa looks over it and gives them a call, and they're all on Zoom or FaceTime or whatever it is. And she's telling them the only thing that's lacking is, why did you want a divorce? And Dr. Cecil, it says he doesn't mind talking about it, but Dr. Simone says, it's very hard to bring that up. And so Omarosa was like, she's nervous that this, talking about why they were going to get a divorce is going to cause an issue in their marriage. So Cecil is like, maybe we need to go back to counseling before we finish this book, because, we're not trying to make this book cause a rift in their marriage. So I totally get it. Dr. Jackie, finishes, her day, and she finishes around 2:30. Dr. Jackie says she comes in before the sun comes up and leaves when the sun is down. So she is excited about being able to finish her day around 2:30. So Dr. Bullitt has proved to be a great investment for her practice. And I agree, like, girl, you need to adopt some of Dr. Heavenly's philosophy. Dr. Heavenly, I think, only works 3 days a week. And I'm pretty sure she's out by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on those days that she works. So yes, Dr. Jackie, work smarter, not harder. I am embracing the soft life into my life, and that's what I would want for myself. And Dr. Jackie, gone are the days when you got to work hard. You are making enough money to be able to take some of the pressure off of yourself. So Dr. Jackie walks in our home. Curtis is shocked. He is making some type of tuna salad or whatever he's making. He's making a sandwich. And so he's shocked. And Dr. Jackie said, this is going to make more time where I can, drive some of your vintage cars. I can play golf with you. So so Curtis brings her a golf bag and, some clubs and say, here you go. And she's like, Curtis know that Dr. Jackie ain't about to golf. She's not about to do none of that. She's going to find something else to put on her plate. And he already knows what it is. So Toy and Eugene, they get ready for Ashton's party. And the girl that he, I guess, likes cannot come because she has tested positive for the, you know, you know, the pandemic. She tested positive for what's going on with the pandemic. So she cannot come. So Toya worries about telling Ashton about it because she feels like he's going to be disappointed. And Dr. Eugene is like, he'll be all right. So Ashton comes down and he gets ready to start helping Dr. Eugene with the dinner. And they tell him that the little girl won't be able to come. And he's like, oh yeah, I already knew that. So he was definitely not, he wasn't fazed by it. He didn't seem, he was like, it's all good. See, Toya. And as mothers, we overthink things. We don't want our children to hurt. So I get it, Toya. I probably would have been the same way. And Dr. Eugene is, more like, yeah, he all right. Typical dad type stuff. So Ashton's guests arrive and they have apple cider and champagne flutes. So chic. Steaks, chicken, fries, mac and cheese. Everything looks chef kiss good. Dr. Eugene is definitely a good chef. I don't see how Toya ain't 2 tons of fun because he definitely knows how to cook. He had big old tomahawk steaks. He had the chicken on the green egg and all that kind of stuff. He was smoking and all that stuff. I mean, Eugene, Dr. Eugene, you are a man after my own heart. You can cook. You got a good job. I mean, and you seem very respectful, Toya. You better hang on to that. I'm telling you, it ain't better out in these streets. I'm gonna tell you that, Toya. So Toya says, that's why they need a big house so they can, Eugene can be outside cooking, the kids can run around in the house, and she can entertain guests. Toya, that is not why you want a big house. You want to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, you don't have to have a $2.9 million house to be able to do the things that you want to do. You could probably scale it back a little bit and still be okay because your sons are getting older. They're not going to be running around the house like that. And then you're going to be empty nesters with a huge house and nothing to do in it. So, I mean, come on. So Dr. Jackie and Quad arrive at Dr. Heavenly's house. Dr. Heavenly's mother, Dorothy, unfortunately passed away. And, Dr. Heavenly was prepared for it. And she, but you can tell she's sad. And you are sad when a parent passed away, a spouse passed away. It's just something that, you're not, even though you're preparing for it, you're still not prepared for it because it's like they are gone. There's no coming back for them in this particular lifetime. There's no coming back for them. So you have to deal with their loss and them not being in, your presence and you being able to lay your eyes on them and just touch them and just talk to them. So all of that is gone. So, and Dr. Heavenly is trying to, put on a brave face. Some people have sent over flowers and stuff. So it's just, going through death as much as I have, unfortunately, I appreciate that Quad and Jackie did come, and see about Dr. Heavenly because the flowers are good, the food, thank you, we appreciate it. But when you come by and actually, are present and you're here and you're checking on me, that means a lot. Your presence means a lot when someone is grieving. It's just, I don't know, it's just something that gives you comfort and just knowing that someone is sitting there and just, they're in it with you. They're there with you and it makes a world of difference. So I really appreciate that Quad and Jackie took the time out to come see about Dr. Heavenly and lay their eyes on her. Dr. Heavenly says her mom always spoke life into her. And that's why she does that with her kids, because she knows that that was always beneficial for her when she was a child. And her mom did say that her dying wish was for Dr. Heavenly and her sister to get back on the same page. So Dr. Heavenly talks about how she and her sister have never really been close. Dr. Heavenly has been like the nerd, so to speak, and she was the one into her books. And her sister was more of the popular girl. So she feels like, Dr. Heavenly feels like, a lot of the stuff, fell on her because she was, considered the strong one and she could handle it. So that's a lot because being the strong one, people don't tend to check on the people they perceive as being strong. And you need to check on your strong friends. Check on them and see how they're doing because even though they may not feel like they can talk about what's going on in their life, they need someone to actually check on them, make sure they're good, make sure they're not spiraling, just making sure their presence is known, and just, when they feel comfortable being a listening ear to talk. I had that when my husband passed. I had some friends who checked on me all the time. And then you have people who just, they just disappear. And, and it is because some people just don't know how to deal with death. So they become so scared to do anything around you that they just don't come around. So you just have to acknowledge, different things about that. But death is a precarious thing. And, soon I'll be, doing some courses on how to handle grief and getting through grief. So stay tuned with that. So Dr. Heavenly tells them that, a prophetess came up to her who is Dr. Lakara Foster. She is a minister, and she's also a psychic medium. So she um, I guess meets Dr. Heavenly and said, ask her about, if she, had anyone that passed recently. And, Dr. Heavenly said no one told her about it. She was not expecting, she hadn't even talked about it publicly, so no one would know. And so she told her that, asked her about if she had issues with her legs and stuff. And Dr. Lakar Foster reassures her that that her mother is saying that she's dancing now and she's in a lot better place. So I know that provides Dr. Heavenly with some comfort to help her through and to know that her mother is on the other side and her mother is doing well. So I know people may not believe in psychic mediums, but they do help when you are grieving, because sometimes you just want to know that your loved one is okay and they're no longer suffering. And so just that, that reassurance gives, people some comfort. And, it's not for everybody, but I feel like that's what Dr. Heavenly needed. So Quad, Quad being shady, she says, well, I hope, someone tells Dr. Heavenly from the great beyond to be nicer to her friends and stop being messy. So yeah, I Quad is always a sniper in the confessional. So Dr. Heavenly says her sister feels like her house is now haunted since their mother has passed, and curtains are moving and stuff is going off, and she's just a little bit nervous. Now I will say sometimes that can happen, and they sometimes spirits will tell still hang around, and just tell them to go to the light, leave, don't come back, and go to the light, go to the light. My grandmother used to talk about that, and when my uncle passed, she said he was, she could hear him in the house. And she just told him to leave, because she, my grandma always said that she said that, dead people don't, won't hurt you, but they make you hurt yourself. So that's why she is like, she didn't like spirits around, because she just didn't want to be scared and all that kind of stuff. So I think my grandmother really had a gift of mediumship, but I think she just rejected it because it probably scared her a little bit. So moving on, Dr. Jackie is hosting a vaccine drive party outside in 41-degree weather. So they all have on their coats and their jackets. And Dr. Jackie has all her heating lamps, but it's cold, Dr. Jackie. But I get it. Dr. Jackie says she's still abiding by the being outside, being 6 feet away. She's trying to still do that. But it's 41 degrees, Dr. Jackie. So Dr. Simone and Heavenly go to the food truck that's there. It's like a little barbecue food truck. And so Dr. Heavenly, tells Simone, go ahead and get the plate for Cecil. And Dr. Simone says, no, she don't do that. It's all about her. She's getting her food. So Dr. Heavenly tells her that's why you ain't getting, sex on a regular basis, because you won't even just, fix your man a plate. So comment down below. What do y'all feel like? You feel like fixing your man a plate that, is that, something that you all do? I would fix my husband a plate. And one of the major reasons I fixed him a plate was because he always felt like he should eat last. I don't know why, but anytime he would kind of eat last out of everybody. So a lot of times when he would eat last, he wouldn't get a lot of stuff. So I would fix him a plate. And he was a big guy. So I'm like, if we're going to be here, you're going to get some of this food too. I don't want you to be deprived. And a lot of times, if he didn't eat, he would binge and get like 30 wings and eat 30 wings in one sitting. So I would make sure that my husband ate. And my grandma, I always saw my grandmother fix my grandfather a plate. So I don't object to that. And I guess it's just about, what's your level of comfortability and, what you and your husband got going on. I'm pretty sure it won't do anything for you getting your husband a plate. It's not that big of a deal. It's not going to make you any less of a feminist if you do. But some people just, they don't like it. They feel like, you can get your plate just like I can get my plate. Comment down below. What do you think? Do you think you should cater to your man? So heavily, the men end up going to get their plates. And as they're getting their plates, Dr. Eugene and Toya walk up. So Cecil and Curtis joke that the OBGYNs don't make plates, so they got to get their own plate. So Toya, immediately tells Eugene, bring me my plate. I'm going, she's going to be with the ladies. And, Dr. Eugene said, okay. And he doesn't feel like that makes him any less of a man bringing his woman a plate. You ain't any less of a man, Dr. Eugene. Long as there's some reciprocity. That's what I think. So he brings Toya his plate, and she immediately lets him know, he didn't bring the hot sauce, and she needs hot sauce with her food. I don't remember her saying thank you, but again, that's her and Eugene's relationship, and it seems like Eugene is used to it, and he doesn't mind. So Dr. Heavenly kind of smirks when she sees, hears Toya complain about not having the hot sauce. And, but she didn't say nothing. Dr. Heavenly restrained herself. And so Dr. Jackie calls Anila and asks, if she's starting to feel safer since the break-in. And then Anila says that she does not. So Contessa asked if she had security cameras and if the security cameras caught anything. And Anila says no, and it's a learning lesson for them. So Anila tells them that she feels she was definitely targeted. And Contessa, is in the confessionals talking about she's unsure about the targeting because she's been around her for 2 years and don't see anything worth nothing that she would want and go break in. But clearly, Dr. Contessa, somebody wanted her stuff. So it was taken. So I don't know why you would feel that way. And I'm kind of taken aback by the lack of compassion from the ladies with Anila's break-in, and probably because they feel like she would have staged it herself. But why would Anila stage her break-in? Anila doesn't need the money. Even if she did get money from insurance, she's only going to get the value of it. She's not going to get her heirlooms back, things that have been passed down to her. She doesn't get that back. So even though she would get the money, she wouldn't, she doesn't have something to pass down to her daughter. So it doesn't make sense that Anila would do that. And I don't think that's the type of vibe that Anila is on. So yeah, I'm kind of taken aback, and I don't like that the ladies are really kind of like being snarky about the whole thing. So Simone jokes that, she didn't know fashion blogging was such a dangerous job. And Toya says she only has 70 followers. Nobody knows her. So again, I don't know. It's ridiculous. So Dr. Jackie tells her to feel better, and the women go, inside because it's cold, Dr. Jackie. It is cold. The sun wasn't even out. So Dr. Jackie tells the group that Anila does seem devastated. And Quad says that, Carrie told them that there was a hit out on Anila. And so Contessa asked, and she seems in much disbelief about what Carrie said. She actually rolled her eyes when Quad said something. There's a beef between Carrie and Contessa that stemmed from last season. So Contessa said, who would want to have a hit on Anila? And Toya busts out laughing. Like, there is no compassion. Like if this would have happened to them, they would have been crying and would have expected some level of compassion towards them. And it's just, it baffles me why they can't even, and even if you felt like in your mind that Anila probably staged it herself, why do you have to vocalize it? Why do you have to vocalize that? It doesn't make sense to me. So Simone jokes and Contessa says she feels Anila is being delusional about the whole target and the hit and all that kind of stuff. So Contessa asked the ladies, well, how would Carrie know that she had a hit out on her? Ding, 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 ding. Your girl Toya told her. How else would Carrie know? How else would Carrie know? So Toya says no one in the neighborhood saw anything, and she had a Christmas party that night from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. That same night, and nobody saw nothing. What kind of Christmas party you got from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m.? I mean, y'all stay at a party that long? Ain't no way I'm staying at no party that long. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Like, what kind of party is lasting that long with a whole bunch of people in your house? And maybe I'm an introvert and I don't mind people being in my house, but it gets to a certain time and I'm like, yeah, it's time for y'all to go. Like, get about my house. So the whole thing with, from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m., people are in your house like, Toya, Jesus. And Dr. Heavenly says it is ironic that Toya has a party on the same night that Anila has a break-in in a gated community. And again, this is just not any gated community. This is a gated community with a security guard. So someone has to physically allow you to come in. There is no like tailgating. You know how some gated communities people tailgate and get in. That makes more sense. But no, there's a security guard making sure that you're on the list and you can come in. So either whoever is in that community either knows Anila or was invited by someone in the community. So Toya asks, why would anyone want to do that? Is it possible that she's a liar? So Quad says people lie every day and tells Toya that she lies too. And did her house get broken into? And Toya says no. So again, that negates what, being a liar means you get your house broken in. That doesn't mean anything. Everybody lies, and that doesn't equate to your house getting broken in. So Toya says no, no one has ever broken into her house. Case in point, because Toya lives in the same gated community with the same security up front. So yes, she has never gotten her house broken into because there is a level of top flight security in this community. So Toya tells Quad she's heard that she's been lying on her family, and Quad says it has been stated a million times that Toya has cheated on Eugene, and the Eugene rumors of Toya cheating has come up again, and I don't know. Maybe she and Eugene have an understanding. Maybe they have an open marriage. Who's to say? No one knows. That's between her and Eugene. So Toya calls Quad the new gossip girl and hides her hand. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about, Quad does gossip, but she is kind of direct and she will say, what she feels, but I don't know. And then, as she's talking, Toya said, well, that's what Heavenly said. So now she's trying to bring Heavenly into it. And Heavenly gets upset and says, no, she ain't about to take the blame for none of this stuff. She says, Toya and whatever she got going on, don't put her in it. And she's like, she doesn't, whatever Toya got going on don't even make sense. So Heavenly, says there's a lot of rumors about Toya and she didn't say anything. So I guess the rumors are out that Toya could possibly be cheating on Eugene. And because Toya makes the comments that she makes about her husband's penis size and all that kind of stuff with Eugene, it kind of puts you in the mind frame like, did you cheat? So that's the kind of thing that's going on with them. So Heavenly says there is a lot of rumors and she didn't say anything. And Toya says, well, there's rumors out about you too. And so Toya, what's the rumors, girl? Go ahead and say it. If there's rumors, go ahead and say what the rumor is. I doubt it. So Heavenly is saying, like, she only sleeps with her man. There ain't no rumors about her. And so Heavenly tries to make this grand exit out of Dr. Jackie's house and can't get out the door. So Dr. Heavenly, oh my God, if you go try to, storm out, make sure you know how to get out and make sure it is. I mean, it was funny, but I know Dr. Heavenly going through a death. You could tell she was highly irritated and she wasn't for the bull stuff. Like she just wasn't. She just wasn't about this. I think she just wanted to come, have a good time, and stay out the mess. And of course, she gets drug into the mess, and she blows up. So Heavenly walks down the steps, fussing and yelling, telling them not to put her name, in nothing. She was ready to go. So Dr. Damon, he was like, "Oh shoot, let me get my coat." So he is getting his things together and saying, "Let me just go on and go," because something went down. And so Heavenly is still fussing and saying Toya trying to put her name and stuff, and that isn't her. And Dr. Damon's penis is big. And the man is like, "What? What does that have to do with anything about whatever they got going on upstairs?" So I don't know if Eugene knows at this point what Toy has been saying about his penis size, but I mean, good God. I don't know how Eugene feels about it, and if he just takes it as a joke, God bless him. But if I was in Dr. Eugene, me and Toy would have a serious conversation. Like that's totally disrespectful. It's out of pocket, and now you're making me the butt of everybody's joke at this point. So Dr. Damon, he's always like, I don't want to talk about. Don't say stuff like that. So Quad comes out and checks on Dr. Heavenly and tells Heavenly her mother just died, and if someone can't understand that, then they have to check on who they're dealing with. Absolutely, Quad. You are absolutely correct that she deserved at that point some type of compassion with what she was going through, and to not really drag her into something that she didn't want to be a part of. And she didn't start the rumors, actually. Now, did she start it? Yes, Dr. Henley set that thing off. She set it off at Quad's party. But I mean, at least I feel like at least it was brought to you and you knew about it. She didn't invite Zaina. Quad invited Zaina. So she just told you what was out there, so you wouldn't be left in the dark. And so now you know. So I don't understand her anger with Quad. I mean, with Dr. Heavenly. I wouldn't hold no beef with Dr. Heavenly. We are on a show, and the show is filled with drama. So I get that. I would probably have more issues with Quad for inviting her, knowing that there is rumor circulating, and the girl Zaina is the one perpetuating it, and you invited her to the party knowing I'm gonna be there. That to me was shady, but not that the Heavenly setting it off. Now she set off the whole drama, but she didn't start the rumor. If y'all see what I'm saying, y'all agree? Comment down below. Who Toya should blame more? Should it be Heavenly or Quad? So Toya is inside and she says she's never lost her mother, but they're trying to mess with her and her marriage, and she doesn't have any sympathy. Toya, that's mean as hell. That's mean as hell. And that's horrible. Because if that happened to you, you would want someone to give you some sympathy. You will want someone to take it easy on you. You will want someone to feel good about you. And side note, Dr. Heavenly even said in one of her lives, she said it on more than one occasion, that that Toya said F her mom. So it went deeper than what was shown, because Toya said, was very mean and crass about Dr. Heavenly's mom passing. And if I was Dr. Heavenly, I wouldn't, we ain't got nothing to say no more, because at that point, I would probably have bust you in your mouth if you had said something like that while I'm grieving. Like, because that's horrible. Toya says that, Anila brought the rumor to the group and Heavenly got it started, which she's correct. Contessa walks outside to express her empathy to Dr. Heavenly, and telling her that she lost her mom and knows it, how it feels, and gives her a big hug. That was very nice, Dr. Contessa. I totally, you know, you know, applaud you for that, but I feel like you still being shady. So Simone brings Toya to the side and acknowledges her hurt, but tells her to put her feelings to the side. So Dr. Simone is telling her right, and I don't know if Toya is going to listen. At the end of the day, I just don't know if Toya is going to listen. And if she said what Dr. Heavenly said that she said, that's horrible. That is horrible. And I don't care how mad you are, to say something like that, that's mean when someone is grieving, and especially someone who lost their mom and they have to still film a show in the midst of their grief. That's hard. That's hard. It's hard enough going through grief on your own and in private, but to do it in front of cameras and have to still put a good face forward. Come on now, cut us some slack. So Simone says Toya is a loyal friend and just wants the same in return. But in order to have friends, you need to show yourself friendly. And Toya has, on many of occasions, not shown herself friendly. That's just that on that. And so Toya says she's strong and they don't care about her feelings. It's not about you at this time, Toya. Heavenly is grieving. And you're saying before that it don't matter about the rumors about Eugene. Eugene knows the deal. You know the deal. You know about your marriage. So why are you making a big deal now? Is this rumor impacting you and Eugene's marriage, or isn't it? It's just at this point it's so annoying to the lack of compassion towards Heavenly and her grief, the lack of compassion towards Anila and her break-in, and Toya wants someone to be compassionate for her. And she should have compassion. But if you don't extend that same compassion, no one is going to be compassionate towards you and how you feel. Should Heavenly have may have taken her to the side and said something? Maybe. And sometimes you just have to call a thing. But we all know Dr. Heavenly produces. She does some production stuff, and she keeps the drama going. And at this point, instead of allowing you to stay in the dark, she did tell you what was going on. And would you have rather been stayed in the dark, or would you? I mean, I don't know what her beef is. Is it how Dr. Heavenly did it, or that Dr. Heavenly brought it to you? I really can't say what Toya's beef is with Dr. Heavenly at this point. But that is the end of the episode. Like I said, comment down below on whose team you're on. Do you think Toya is right? Do you think, Heavenly, was wrong in bringing it to her? Give me some of your thoughts. I would like to get some interaction and get some opinions on this, because I can see different things. I can see both sides, but I'm leaning more towards, showing compassion for Dr. Heavenly, and maybe because I know, what grief feels like and what it looks like, and that just was not the time to deal with that, and I hate that. I hate that for them. And so next week, according to the previews, it appears that they are going to Blue Ridge Mountain for their couples getaway. I'm assuming Quad is going to be there, and Dr. Heavenly will be there, and maybe Anila will be there. I'm not really sure, but we shall see. It should be one for the books, because they have been really giving on all these episodes. Yeah. I think that's it. So if you made it this far and you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to like the video before you exit out. I will greatly appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, come on in, join my tribe. I enjoy community and I love upliftment, and I just love to be able to talk and to get some of these issues out in the open. Don't forget to check out my previous video where I did a tarot reading on Anila's break-in, and tell me your opinion on that. And that's it. I really don't have any more. It's been fun. Blessings to each and every one of you. And y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace.